Johnson here, and it's a new day, it's a new rant, and I'm feeling good. Anyway, you got some Q jumpers here. I'm gonna call these Q jumpers because they got a Q. This is the Q, my list of rants, right? But then sometimes things will come up, like normally in the comment section of my previous videos or like emails that I've gotten or whatever, and I'll let these things jump the queue because they fire up. Anyway, the first one, micronutrients. Oh, do they infuriate me. The idea being, okay, and it starts off in a good place, right? And all these rants kind of come from a simple place. Anyway, we all know macros are good, right? So you gotta have, you know, your iron, you gotta have your zinc, you gotta have your magnesium, your vitamin A, B, and your C, and your D3, and all. You gotta have everything, yeah. You gotta have all these micronutrients, right? So people will say, don't have white rice, have brown rice, because you know there are more, because it's a whole grain, you get more micronutrients, which is true. So the ergo, vis-a-vis, the brown rice is better as a better carb than the white rice, making brown rice a good carb and the white rice a bad carb. And that makes sense. I can understand that makes sense. More micronutrients, more healthiness, ergo, better. That makes sense. Unfortunately, micronutrients don't work in that way. You can't super load micronutrients. And actually, in the Western world, if you're eating anything like a balanced diet, and most people don't have anything like the ability to eat a diet that is just the same thing every day. You may do it for like a week or so, but generally people can't do it. One second, I'm gonna pause for a cough. Try and edit that out later. Okay, so most people don't have the ability to eat a diet that's the same thing every day. People will change their foods and swap out their foods and add this and take that away. Also, if you're a trained individual, which if you're not training, why are you here? This is the wrong channel. This is for people that train and want advice and stuff with regards to training. This is a fitness channel. This is not a sitting down and watching me rant channel. Though, there is some entertainment to that. Hey! So if you're training, your caloric needs will go higher, right? And since you're a human being with human needs, you'll need to eat to match those. Even if you're in a deficit, you will still need to eat to match your hunger and to be satiated. Now, to be satiated in the real world, you can't get by on the minimal amount of food necessary to survive calorically. Meaning you could technically, based on calories alone, survive on drinking enough sugar water, drinking enough protein shake, and drinking enough oil. Yeah, you could put it more. You could do it in a glass. One single glass will provide your entire caloric needs for a single day. Now that makes sense in terms of, oh, see, that's why if it fits your macros is bad, because you don't have to hit your micronutrients or whatever. But what happens in the real world? This is the real world where real people live and stuff happens. Is people get hungry and they're not satiated. They're not even slightly satisfied by consuming things that are just high in calories. If your person's training, they've come out of the gym and they're like, whoa, I'm hungry. And you go, here's your glass for the day. And they drink that and they're like, okay, that was about 2,500 calories in that. There was definitely protein, there was definitely carbs, and there was some fat. I'm done. I'll see you in 24 hours for the next drink. You're gonna be hungry all the time. Any person that's gone into any type of training and tried to hit any type of portion control or calorie numbers that's restricted their calories in any way, even if they're bulking, understands and knows how difficult it is to stay under that calorie goal. Because even if you're bulking, you don't always want to go crazy. You always want to get fat. Even if you're bulking and you're in a caloric surplus, you're still getting hungry. Which is why you're always trying to find a way to eat less calories and get more solid food inside your stomach. And what happens as you do that, you naturally gravitate towards foods that have more micros in them. This is just what happens. You don't need someone to go over it or tell anyone to do it. No one would survive on any type of calorie restriction without seeking out these foods. You just do it naturally and filling up on them. You can easily drink 2,000 calories, but you can't get through the day on them. So it's a non-issue going over the micronutrients. It's a non-issue generally, because in the Western world, with the expansive foods that we have, the chances of you being deficient sufficiently in a micronutrient that you can even find in food in large quantities, because some you can't find in food. Like, you can take vitamin D3 pills. You're not going to find any vitamin D3 in food. So you might want to supplement that. That's a totally different video. But if you can find like things like creatine, you're not going to find it in food. Wherever you think you can't find creatine, sufficient quantities of creatine in your food, you can't eat that way. It would have other problems. So what you get is people complaining and whining, trying to seek out a micronutrient thing that you were already good on. You were already fine on it. You didn't need to worry about it. Because if you start adding up all these foods, even if they don't have a lot of vitamin A or vitamin C, once it all adds up and gets thrown into the mix and you look at your whole day, you're probably fine. Anyway, that leads on to the next point, which is, since you need some of it, the more of it is better, right? So you have some vitamin C, but if you had double vitamin C, that would be double good, right? Now, that makes sense if you're 6, but in real life, no. You can overdose on any micronutrient easily. Like, you can overdose on anything. Too much protein, it's gonna screw havoc with your digestive system. Too much carbs and stuff are gonna obviously makes you fat, and too much sugar would be bad for your teeth, and too much fructose has its own issues. It's probably worth its own video and stuff. If you notice any cuts in this video, it's because I'm ill. I'm just trying to get over it and I'm ranting. Ranting does not help my throat. Anyway, too much fat has its own problems that are very well documented. Too much saturated fat, etc., etc. I'm sure you all know those. I don't need to go into those. Too much iron will play havoc with certain aspects of digestion. Too much beta carotene and you start turning orange. Too much of these things start screwing up the digestion of other things. Too much fiber will lead to malabsorption of all micronutrients. As someone that's consumed 150 grams of fiber in a day, it makes you ill. It makes you feel horrible. You can't have some of a good thing is good, so just keep going and it'll just get super great. That is so ridiculous. I would hate to eat a cake made by some of the people that comment on YouTube. I mean, you'd look at the recipe and you'd be like, okay, cake, 2 eggs. Eggs, 1, 2. Wait, 2 eggs, good protein, healthy fats. 2 eggs would be good. What about 16 eggs? Okay, what's next? A teaspoon of sugar to add to the sweetness. Sure, 1 teaspoon would be good. But if I kept going, it would be extra delicious. That is not how a recipe works. Anyone knows that's not how a recipe works. Think of your body as a recipe. You have micronutrient needs and requirements to hit. They're not to be skyrocketed past into infinity and beyond, Buzz Lightyear. It's not to be done that way. So please, when you're talking about micronutrients, do some of the math. First of all, it would not kill you if you just worked out how many of these micronutrients that you actually need. Then work out how many of these micronutrients you actually consume. Then work out what you need to eat. Because just saying, oh, this is better because it's got more micronutrients. No, not true. Case in point, vis-a-vis example, there have been times when I've been on 5,000 calories. At 5,000 calories of food, and I was eating all whole foods because I don't eat anything that isn't whole foods. I'm talking about sweet potato, vegetable soup, oats, bananas, apples, plums, chicken breast, cottage cheese. That's what my 5,000 calories came from. In all of that 5,000 calories, do you really think I'm lacking vitamin A? Go and work out how much vitamin A is in 2 kilos of sweet potato, etc. All these micronutrients, I've got loads of them. So then once I've eaten all those, let's say I wanted to bump it up to 6,000 calories, would you still think that brown rice is a better carb than white rice to push my fiber limit into my fiber level into like 80 grams, 90 grams, when I really should be on about 25 grams a day? It's not just good, it's a set of ingredients that either work or don't work for what you're currently doing and your current goals. Just because most of the world suffers from poor diets and don't get a good balance of foods, most people that train in fitness and are eating, according to macros or clean eating or whatever, they actually do get a really good split of micronutrients, and adding more just for the sake of doing so doesn't actually help them. In fact, it can be a hindrance. But really, the truth is, it don't matter. So hopefully that's... I'm going to do another rant. I got more.